Hey guys, Arun here. I hope you're having a good Sunday and getting ready for the next week. I wanted to give you a quick update on what's happening in the Bitcoin world and kind of give you the perspective of what is the technical analysis saying, what is the on-chain activity saying. We will be looking at uh, a lot of charts, metrics to see where we are coming from and where we are heading and what possibly could be the price action in next coming months or weeks. I will be posting a weekly video starting today. So today is Sunday, 29th August. That's my weekly update. So you can expect a video every week, me dropping a video on YouTube, giving an update and assessing where the market is. So without wasting any further time, let's jump into what is happening in the market. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, hopefully you guys can see my screen here. And let's start with the stock market. Where is the stock market at this point? And as you can see here, right now, we are kind of like sitting pretty neutral at this point. And we know the S&P had a pretty fantastic run up since the bottom, right? If you go towards the monthly chart and see, you can see here after the March sell-off where everything sold off, gold, stock market, you can see here the run up is pretty amazing, right? And similarly, we can see in Bitcoin, we had a good correction in March. We ran up, we corrected, we went through some accumulation phase, and again, we are trying to push towards a bull run. So where are we in this crypto market? So as you can see, right now, we are sitting in a greed zone. So there's a crypto fear and greed index, which tracks if is the market getting greedy or fearful. You can see here as an overall trend, how things have trended. And you can see, like if I do for last 1 year, we were after this huge pump, like the Elon Musk pump, Michael Saylor coming out and publishing all the videos, doing Bitcoin days, Bitcoin for corporations, all that hype, right? You can see here we were in the extreme greed zone, kind of like in November to January to February, and we saw a lot of distribution during this time from the whales, and we will go over that shortly. And there was a massive sell-off in the crypto, and we were kind of sitting in the extreme fear where we went through an accumulation phase. And now after the price ripping from 29,000 to kind of like touched 50,000, we are again back in the greed zone, right? And we are seeing some distribution right now where the whales are coming out and distributing their coins to the weaker hands. So kind of like strong hands are selling into the weak hands. So just keep in mind, we are in the greed zone. We were in the extreme greed zone. It's hard to imagine we just keep going up and up and up from here, just because the underlying fundamentals are not supporting that theory at this point. So let's kind of like dive into what's happening right now. So here is let me just take off some of this noise and kind of look at the clean chart where we are coming from, right? So we started off pretty much in 2010, and you can see here we have gone through, this is our first cycle, this is our second cycle, and we have entered into the third cycle from some time, and we're trying to find what is the price for the third cycle. A lot of people thought that this run up from the bottom in January 19 to 65,000, is this the top, right? And we did see quite distribution during this time. As you can see here, the strength in the market, once it kind of hit the 11th January peak or 4th of January, you can see here, the market kind of the big sellers or the whales, they were kind of selling to the retail. And when the sell-off got finished, the accumulation took place. And it's pretty evident on the daily chart, where you can see a bullish divergence, where the price kept going down, but the strength in the market kept going up, right? And we saw a good amount of accumulation during this time. And after a bullish divergence, we saw the price leaving this area. We had, quite levels mapped out here, but price kind of breaking this 42,000 zone, this 29 to 42,000 zone, touching here, falling back, support at 38,000, and then kind of going, higher than that. But as you can see, there is a bearish divergence where the price is trying to notch higher, or maybe, kind of stay flat. If I show you kind of this way, as you can see here, the price is trying to go up, but the strength in the market is kind of going down, which means that there is a good amount of selling going on as the price is going. So, a lot of people who accumulated in this area, who bought the dip, don't believe that the market can keep ripping higher. Some people are trying to book profits because they bought in like 30,000, 29,000 range, and they are now trying to get some profits as the price has appreciated by like 60, 70%. Right? If you look at this move from the bottom, we were at 29,000 and we have appreciated 65%, right? And 65% move in basically in a month or month and a half, which is incredible, right? Incredible move. And that's how crypto is, that's how Bitcoin is. It goes up pretty fast and then does nothing for a lot of time, and people kind of panic. But you can see here, the price is not doing much, kind of grinding sideways, but we can see there's some selling going on at this point by bigger hands. So let's see, like on a monthly basis, how things are looking. As we can go here, monthly looks fine, no problem. Our strength is coming back in the market. The price is trying to go higher. On a weekly basis, I think we are above our, this red line is 20-day moving average. But here's the problem, right? We have a declining 20-day moving average. And for the market to be healthy, we would like to see a rising 20 weekly moving average. Sorry, it's a weekly moving average. So a rising 20 weekly moving average. We have a rising 200-day weekly average. We have a rising 50 weekly average. We have a rising 5-day, but 20 is not in sync. But over time, we would like to see for the bull market to continue a rising 20 weekly average. But you can see here, we have made quite a move in RSI from 42 to 57. So I do expect, at this point, Bitcoin to kind of cool off a little bit, because we are in a greed zone, and unless the weak hands get washed out, the price, unless they get washed out, it's hard to imagine us, going all-time highs and passing like 65,000. So let's look at some of the very interesting stuff, like volume weighted price. So this is if you go by the volume weighted price, which is what is the average price traded on Bitcoin since the beginning of this year, right? So this is our volume weighted price average, and you can see here it is at this point around 42,000. And from the top, what is the average price of Bitcoin traded? It is again around that kind of mark, 42, 43. And we are, if someone who caught the dip around 29,000, June 19, the volume weighted price is around $42,000. And if you go towards weekly, our weekly is sitting, 20 weekly MA is sitting around $42,000. So there is, looks like a lot of confluence of averages around $42,000. And you can see here, there is a, if you look at if you look at the volume bars, since this breakout we had at $10,000, we have a good volume shelf, which is built up around these area, which is $39,000, $40,000. So if we were to come back, I would expect it to come back around 42,000. Definitely we can go lower. I'm not, hoping that it goes down further. Maybe it will, but this bearish divergence we are seeing on daily, for it to resolve, I would like to see it come down to around 40,000, 42,000 areas, which will be like an area of interest for many people to come in and buy. So kind of hold this volume shelf, come down to this area, and then start grinding higher, right? Once we drop here, I'm pretty sure the market will be fearful, and a lot of weak hands are going to sell out. And then you will see some smart money kicking in. So let's look at some on-chain. What are we seeing, on-chain? So one of the interesting things being seen is so this is basically the exchange net position for all exchanges. And you can see here, before the big dump that we saw, coins were moved to the exchanges. So this is your price, right? So after we reached our all-time highs, we all know that the price was not going up, and there was a clear divergence in the strength of the market, where big hands were selling to the weak hands. After the price was not getting moved, exchanges had a net positive supply, so a lot of coins were moved in to sell to weaker hands, or to kind of dump in the market, because the investors, the whales, kind of lost faith where the market is heading. And you can see here, exchange were pretty negative for a long time, but suddenly they went positive in their positions, and what we saw is a big dump, right? And then we went through an accumulation phase where, after some time, when all these coins were sold off, we were kind of in accumulation phase where a lot of whales came in, smart money came in, people who understand the game came in, they bought it and moved it off the exchanges, and kind of like got a supply shock where there's not enough Bitcoin to be bought, which made the price rip higher. As you can see here, the exchanges were still negative in their position, but as the price kind of ripped higher, we saw in last few days, we have seen an activity where the exchanges are again, going less negative on their net position. So which means the coins are moved on the exchanges to sell in the strength, which is confirmed by what we are seeing in the relative strength. The RSI kind of telling us that the strength is kind of cooling off in the market. I know a lot of people have this theory around we're gonna, ripping higher from here. We are going to 200, 300,000 or whatever the price target they have. But guys, we have to be realistic. We have to see, what is the supply demand ratio, right? It's a very volatile asset. We all know volatility is our friend. And we always have to keep an eye on what is the supply demand dynamics. I know a lot of you people might be saying, what, we are not traders. We are not interested in this stuff. And believe it or not, I'm also not a trader. I'm a long-term hodler, right? I've been doing this for many, many years now. I don't trade this, but for me to come in the market, I have to make sure I'm buying at the right price, right? Nobody wants to overpay. Would I ever buy Bitcoin at 50,000? Sure, I will, right? But right now, it may be too expensive. I don't like to buy when market is greedy. I don't like to buy when there are bearish divergences in the market, because I know from my experience that I'm buying at a higher price and the price will come down, and that will be the right time to buy. Now, could I be completely wrong? Sure. Everybody gets it wrong. Nobody's 100% right, but we all are, hedging our bets, looking at the data and making the best decision. So let's kind of continue. So we talked about, selling in the strength going on right now in the market. Here is an interesting metric that I want you guys to look at, which is the hodler behavior, right? So the orange line is our supply adjusted coin destroyed days, and I have it to like 150-day moving average, which kind of means that people holding the coins for 150 days or more. If you can hold your Bitcoin for 150 days, you are kind of a hodler, right? You're looking long term, and you can see here when the price is ripping, hodlers are coming and selling the coins, and when the price is crashing, when the price is going up, hodlers are basically not selling, but once the top is reached, then the hodlers are coming and they are kind of coming in and selling the coins to the market. So you can see here in previous cycles, right? We kind of went as we were going in, the coins were held, but then they were sold off. In the 2017 pump, we saw the coins were held, and then the hodlers came in and they kind of sold off all their coins to the weak hands. And here also you can see here when the market kind of dipped in 2019, hodlers got panicked and they sold all their coins, and they started accumulating again during this time. So as you can see here, overall the hodler activity is pretty good, in a way that hodlers are kind of, we are over here at this point, and the hodlers are continue to holding their coins. They are not eager to sell. If you look at this activity, right, the hodlers are, as you can see here, this moving average is going down. So we're seeing a good hodler activity. People are holding on to their coins. Just in terms of where is the network, I'm just waiting for the dashboard to load up. The hash rate is recovering pretty nicely at this point. This is our hash rate, which should come up after the whole China sell-off, China shutting down all the Bitcoin mining. We kind of bottomed around July 2nd, but now, as you can see, the mean hash rate is consistently grinding higher, whether it's Texas, Florida, wherever the mining facilities are going up. We are seeing that the network is getting back in strength. Another, like, I don't know if a lot of people know about this, but let's look at the stock to flow model, right? If you have not heard of it, it is basically a long-term projection for Bitcoin and how the stock to flow model is behaving. And these are basically your halvings. So you can see here 1, 2, we had 3 halvings, and in November 15, 2012, halving, the price was around $11. And by the next halving, on July 2nd, 2016, the price was $703, right? Look at the price increase. And from here, the next halving in May 5th, 2020, the price was 8,900, close to 9,000. So from 700, we kind of went to 9,000, pretty much, right? Massive, massive increase in the price. I don't know if there's any asset which has given us this kind of return, but we continue to grind this stock to flow model, and we try to like track this stock to flow model. So this is the stock to flow ratio at this point. You can see this, and the green and the blue, or this colorful line, is your is the Bitcoin price, and it start with days until halving, and this is kind of like the color band for it. So for the next halving, which is going to happen in March 21, 2024, we are only here, right? And the stock to flow model says we should be at $104,000, and we should be around this point for a pretty long time. So, you know, based on stock to flow in the coming months, we may go up, you know, who knows where we will go, where the price grinds and then the long-term holders come out and they start selling their coins. We don't know what the price will be, whether that will be, you know, 150, 200, 300, or 100. We don't know. We have whenever that happens, you know, I'll keep you guys updated, keep looking at the on-chain activity, but we don't know what that would be. But it kind of suggests that the next halving price around 121, and then the next halving is going to create another supply shock, and we should be looking at 1 million plus BTC after 2025. Pretty incredible. So let's go back here into my dashboard, and let's look at some of the other cool metrics. I know this market is full of fear and greed. When the price comes down, people think it's going to zero. And when the price goes up, people think it's going to infinity. But that's not how the markets work. Retail is always, you know, screwed in this market. So my whole purpose here is to educate you so that you don't get into all these hypes and, you know, damage yourself. For today, let's look at another another model. So a couple of things, like we can look at stock to flow deflection, which kind of measures the deflection between stock to flow. Our orange band is basically when we are kind of like in a mania, and the green zone is more like, you know, when we are undervalued based on stock to flow, and when we are orange, that means we are overvalued based on stock to flow. And you can see here, we are pretty undervalued. We tried going overvalued based on stock to flow at this point, but participants, long-term holders came in, they sold into the strength, pushed the price down, and I wouldn't be surprised if we, you know, at some point in the next few months, again, go into the overvalued zone as we have seen in the past, you know, 2018 cycle, or whether it's the, you know, 2019 pump from 3,000 to 14,000, or in the previous cycle. So it's just a matter of time. Long-term holders who have patience, they are accumulating at lower prices, and they are sitting tight with their positions. And when the time comes, they are selling it to the market, right? The big money, the smart money is coming in, and they're selling into the weak hands. Last thing, I guess we can look at the inflation rate. I wanted to also put this out to you guys. This is the overall inflation rate, which is the number of new coins entering the market. And as you can see, it continues to grind lower with every halving. And you can see with every halving, the price goes up, the inflation rate goes down. And this is kind of data coming from 2010 at the very beginning, right? So guys, if you think it's going to zero, that's not happening, right? Because the price, as you can see here, the gray line, it only continues to go up. It doesn't continue to go down, right? And inflation rate keeps going down. What does that mean? That means that the supply is getting lesser and lesser. And as you can see, the demand is just going more and more. Look at the countries like India, or South American countries like El Salvador, Panama, Venezuela, Argentina, right? There's a lot of people know about it. A lot of people are buying it. It's an asset that everybody talks about it, right? Nobody is in the whole world. Nobody's talking about buying an Apple stock or a Tesla stock, or or whatever, right? Or even for the fact like S&P, nobody is talking about. Every person on this planet is not talking about buying S&P, but people do talk about getting into Bitcoin, or getting some coins on their portfolio. So as you can see there, the inflation continues to grind lower and the price continues to appreciate here. So what can we see in coming weeks? Nobody has a magic ball. If somebody tells you that it's gonna grind higher or grind lower, for sure, run away from that person, because nobody knows. But based on all the data that we have, it looks like we need some correction here. At least that's where my money is, that we might be looking at around 42 to 45,000 range, or 46, something like that. In terms of support, we got 200-day moving average around 46,000. Then we got our volume weighted averages around $42,000. So we don't know. We will see where do we land, whether it's 46 or whether it's 42. And once that's resolved, then we are looking to see the price go up. Similarly, the fear and greed index, we would like to see come back to normal or fear, and then it can grind higher. As the price grinds higher, the index can also adjust based on that, but we'll keep you guys updated. Another thing to keep in mind is the stock market. Right now, it's in a neutral zone, but we had a pretty extensive move in the stock market since the sell-off in March. So there's another thing to keep in mind, that we might be coming right at the top of it, which is around 4642 or 4700, something like that, which is also kind of measured in the strength of the market. As you can see here, we are kind of slowly inching towards the greedy or extreme greed zone in coming weeks. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of sell-off in the market at that point. Although right now there is no data which is suggesting that there a sell-off is coming. Market looks pretty healthy. There's strength in the market. There's no bearish divergence. Price continues to grind higher, but how high can it go, right? There's always a correction. Smart money always kicks in and starts selling to weaker hands. So that is going to happen at some point, whether it's in October, in November, in December, in January, we don't know. We will get confirmations before that. But right now, we are getting into some sort of mania phase in the next few weeks. And let's see how BTC behaves, whether Bitcoin, after touching to 40K, after touching to 45K, whether it makes a double top, makes to 7,500, or it also goes in a mania phase, we don't know. As we will look at the overall market and make that call right now, right then, but right now, we are slightly bearish on this market at this point, and looking for the price to come down a little bit, create some fear in the market, and then we can continue to grind higher. Hopefully, guys, this was helpful to you guys. I will be coming back to you every week. Hit that subscribe button if you've made it so far, so you can continue getting my updates. Also click on the bell button so you get notified whenever I'm posting content. And if you have any questions, leave in the comments. You can also follow me on the Twitter. I have a lot of good information available there. You can go here on my profile. My Twitter handle is BTC Price Action 8. I keep posting very valuable information, long-term outlook on Bitcoin. Also, a lot of good content from very interesting people who you can trust, not the news, not CNBC, who are always trying to pump and dump things, but people who really know what is happening in the market. And I'm always on this 24/7. So follow me on Twitter, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.